Today, the Lux Life brings you the 10 most expensive paintings ever sold. The prices of these artworks vary depending on the fame of the artist or the material used. You will be amazed to see how expensive these pieces can be. Let's start with number 10. Number 10. New Coché, $170 million. Painted by Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani, New Coché is one of the famous series of nudes painted in 1917. It was sold for $170 million in November 2016 to Chinese businessman Liu Yiqian. It is one of the most widely reproduced and exhibited paintings in the world, and art historians have observed that the group of nudes this painting belonged to reaffirmed and reinvigorated the nude as a subject of modernist art. Number 9. Les Femmes d'Alger, $179 million. Also known as Women of Algiers, this series of 15 paintings and drawings was done by famed Spanish artist Pablo Picasso. It was painted in 1955 as a tribute to the 1834 painting by Eugène Delacroix, Femmes d'Alger dans leur appartement, or the Women of Algiers in their apartment. The entire series of paintings were bought by Victor and Sally Gans from the Gallery Louis Leiris, a fine art gallery in Paris, for $212 million in June 1956. The painting that brings the series to this list is version O, which was sold for $179 million to Qatari Prime Minister Hamad bin Jassim bin Jabr Al Thani. Number 8. Pendant portraits of Maerten, Soolmans and Oopjen Coppit, $194 million. This pair of paintings by Dutch Baroque painter Rembrandt Harmenzon van Rijn were painted for the marriage of Maerten Soolmans and Oopjen Coppit in 1634. They were owned by the heirs of the subjects until their sale in 1877 to Gustave Samuel de Rothschild, a French banker. In 2016, the paintings were jointly purchased by the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam and the Louvre in Paris, when each contributed to the total sum of $194 million. Subscribe to the Lux Life and click the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest and greatest videos. Also, if you like this video, click the like button and share it with your friends. Number 7. Number 6. Violet, Green and Red, $201 million. Painted by Latvian-American abstract expressionist artist Mark Rothko in 1951. Consisting of large expanses of color delineated by uneven hazy shades, it definitely counts as abstract. Rothko's style may seem uninspired, but it was intentional. The simplicity is intended to draw viewers in and is ambiguously named so that they can form their own impressions. In 2013, the painting was involved in a controversy when Yves Bouvier, a Swiss art broker, sold the painting to Russian billionaire Dmitry Rybolovlev and tricked him into paying more money than the painting was worth. Bouvier had bought the painting from the previous owner, Piker HB, for approximately 80 million euros and had sold it to Rybolovlev for 140 million euros or $201 million, all the while leading Rybolovlev to believe that he was simply a dealer. The legal battle for this fraud is still ongoing. Number 6. Wasserschlangen II, $201 million. Also known as Water Serpents II, this oil painting was made by artist Gustav Klimt in 1907. A follow-up painting to the earlier painting Water Serpents I. It also deals with the sensuality of women's bodies and same-sex relationships. Commissioned for Jenny Steiner, the daughter of a Viennese industrialist, it was confiscated by the Nazis during World War II because Steiner was Jewish and fled to Portugal in 1938. The painting remained in possession of Nazi filmmaker Gustav Otsitsky until 2012, during which time it was considered lost. It went through a legal battle between Otsitsky's widow and Steiner's heirs when it was sold in 2012 to art broker Yves Bouvier for $112 million. In 2013, the painting went through another controversy when it was involved in the fraudulent sale to Dmitry Rybolovlev by Yves Bouvier, the same fraud in which the number 6, Violet, Green and Red by Mark Rothko was involved. In 2015, the painting was sold again by Rybolovlev for $201.7 million to an undisclosed buyer, although it is rumored to be in the private collection of an unnamed Qatari princess. As it is not available to the public, the painting is considered to be lost all over again. Be sure to check the description of our videos for details, occasional bonus material, as well as links to other videos. Number 5. Number 17A, $216 million. This is an interesting piece of art by the famous Jackson Pollock in 1948. Pollock was famous for his technique of pouring or splashing paint into a horizontal surface, a technique he called action painting. Described by some as a frantic dancing style, this extreme form of abstract is loved and hated by critics. In 2015, Number 17A was sold by the David Geffen Foundation to American hedge fund billionaire Kenneth Griffin for $216 million. Number 4. When Will You Marry Me? $227 million. This oil painting was done by French post-impressionist artist Paul Gauguin in 1892. Gauguin went to Tahiti in search of an Edenic paradise in 1891. He was unfortunately disappointed because Tahiti had been colonized in the 18th century, and at least two-thirds of the indigenous people had been killed by diseases brought by the Europeans. His Edenic culture had been wiped out, but that didn't stop Gauguin. His painting was unfortunately met with relative indifference and only earned 1,500 francs when it was purchased by Rudolf Stechelin in 1917. It was on loan to a museum in Switzerland until it was sold to Sheikha Al-Mayasa bint Hamad Al Thani in February 2015 for nearly $227 million. Number 3. The Card Players, $250 to $320 million. Like La Femme d'Alger, The Card Players is a series of oil paintings by French post-impressionist Paul Cézanne in the early 1890s. Cézanne took inspiration from the 17th century Dutch and French genre painting in which card games were often depicted with rowdy, drunken gamblers in a tavern. In this series of paintings, he instead showed the card games with stone-faced tradesmen, each one focused on their cards rather than each other. The painting on this list, though, depicts two players in a card game. It is similar to the three other paintings and is often grouped in one category. It was bought by the royal family of Qatar in 2011 for a record price of between $250 million and $320 million from the private collection of Greek shipping magnate George Imberikos. Number 2. Interchange, $324 million. Interchange, also known as Interchanged, is oil on canvas painting by Dutch-American abstract expressionist painter Willem de Kooning. It was one of de Kooning's first abstract landscapes and was a step away from his preference for abstract female figures. In 1955, he began to work on abstract renderings of the architecture of his surroundings in downtown New York. His other pieces at the time were named Police Gazette, Gotham News, and Saturday Night, all references to the neighborhoods. The painting was sold after completion to architect Edward Kaufman Jr. for $4,000 and passed through more owners until September 2015, when it was sold for $324 million to hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin. Number 1. Salvator Mundi, $450.3 million. Is anyone really surprised that the most expensive painting in the world was painted by Italian Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci? Well, of course not. This painting was made in the 1500s and has an interesting history. It is suggested to have been painted for Louis XII of France and passed through countless houses and owners in Italy and England. Because there were copies of the paintings made by Da Vinci's pupils, it was thought to be a painting until 2005, when a consortium of art dealers bought it and were able to prove the history of the painting. It was restored and the overpainting was removed. As one of the 20 known works by Da Vinci, it has set the record for the expensive painting ever sold when it was sold at auction for $450.3 million to Prince Badr bin Abdullah. This was the list of the world's most expensive paintings. Which painting's price tag surprised you the most? Comment down below to let us know. Subscribe to the Lux Life and click the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. The Lux Life. Find what costs you.